The conflict between Russia and Ukraine continues to worsen as the war enters its second week. Coming up, MCTV's Patricia Perry brings us some unique perspectives on the impact of the events in Eastern Europe.
It may be hard to believe, but graduation is just over 2 months away. Find out how one university group is helping graduates take care of some final details and secure a special keepsake to remind them that every day they are a Red Raider.
And the home basketball season officially came to a close yesterday evening as the Lady Raiders hit the hardwood for senior night. MCTV's Alejandra Salazar will have a look at highlights and the final score from the game, along with a preview of what's ahead for Tech Athletics this weekend in sports.
This is the MCTV Weekday Update.
Welcome to the Thursday edition of the MCTV Weekday Update. I'm Kamryn Mendoza.
And I'm Beene.
History is being made halfway around the world this week as the war continues to intensify in Eastern Europe.
The invasion of the Ukraine by Russia has dominated news headlines and social media, but many Americans are still trying to understand the conflict.
MCTV's Patricia Perry recently had a chance to sit down with several on-campus experts to help bring perspective to the war. She joins us now in the studio with a story. Patricia?
Thanks, Cameron and Grace. This past week has been a tough one for Ukraine. Russia started the invasion last Thursday, spreading terror across the country. The impacts from the conflict are worldwide, and we can even feel them here at home.
This is something that most say they didn't see coming. Back in 1991, the Soviet Union collapsed, and this is where some say it began.
Ever since, I would say, Russia has been trying to reassert influence and dominance over most of those other republics.
Although this is what Russia has been attempting to do for quite some time, no one fully knows what they hope to gain. We can only assume.
Well, it's not quite clear what the goal is, but if not total Russian domination of Ukraine, then certainly the division of Ukraine into one or more territories that Russia would have domination over.
If successful, some are worried the invasions won't end there.
So if we don't stop Putin here, it might be that he decides to invade more countries that will destabilize Europe.
The economic concern is mainly focused on oil. Russia is known to be a big supplier of gas, and some fear with these prices already on the rise, what could happen next.
We have about another 60, 70 cents per gallon built into the price that will show up at our pumps over the next month or two.
Now, this invasion is still ongoing, and no one knows where we will go from here in any way.
So that's going to call into question what the Fed does with the interest rates over the coming months, and that's going to determine what happens to inflation and how our economy goes forward.
The situation is evolving very rapidly, and it's being decided on the battlefield.
Today, the tragic invasion continues with the bombing of tons of civilians across Ukraine. There are hopes of a peaceful end to the conflict, but at the moment that looks unlikely. Back to you, Grace.
Thanks, Patricia. Back here on campus, a biannual event recently gave the students a chance to purchase a special wearable keepsake to remember their time here at Texas Tech. Starting on Tuesday, the Texas Tech Alumni Association hosted the spring edition of the Grad Fair at the McKenzie Mercott Alumni Center. The fair is held each fall and spring, giving upcoming graduates the chance to purchase their caps and gowns, order invitations, take photos, or even purchase a class ring. Any student with 75 or more credit hours are eligible to purchase the ring, giving them a long-term way to show off their school spirit.
Place of unity, when they turn that around and the double T is facing outwards, that shows that they are an alum, and it's just a sense of pride.
Grad Fair was the last chance to purchase a class ring and be eligible to participate in the spring ring ceremony. Even if you didn't make it out to this week's Grad Fair, you can still purchase a class ring at any time by visiting balfour.com/TTU.
Music lovers and fans of an old-school technology are making a comeback recently had an option to indulge both of these interests while supporting some fellow students. Texas Tech's chapter of the Music Teachers National Association hosted a record and book sale on Monday in the Music Building. The money raised from the sale went directly to MTNA to help them host more events with the hope of getting people involved with the organization. MTNA Secretary Jonathan Chavez says the organization's goal is to remind students of the importance of being a musician.
Chapters like these are a good way to force music students to remember, we're making music to connect people, we're making music to form connections with people we wouldn't normally.
Tech's chapter of the Music Teachers National Association is always looking for new members. If you're interested in joining the group, you can contact them by email at ttumtna@gmail.com.
Esports and gaming continue to rise in popularity throughout the world, including here at Texas Tech. And one recent conference brought awareness to a group of people who are having a big impact on the industry. Last week, the Thomas J. Institute for Hispanic and International Communication hosted a gaming symposium at the College of Media and Communication. The Hispanic and Latin American video gaming experience, imagery, industry, and audience took place on Friday and Saturday online and in the IHIC offices on the second floor. The conference was originally planned to include in-person sessions, but travel issues kept most of the panels from getting to Lubbock. Due to that fact, the only in-person event was held on Friday at noon, featuring a key speech from Ana Huerta, the Senior Design Director at EA Maxis. Huerta's speech focused on her personal experiences and how they have influenced her career.
So in my talk, we went over just different styles of upbringing in my family, definitely dealing with toxic femininity and masculinity, dealing with abusive family members and how that can really change someone's perspective and how they work with others.
The remainder of last week's sessions were hosted online through Zoom with participants logging in from around the world. The sessions included several panels, discussions with professors from here at Texas Tech, along with others from universities of Delaware, Utah, and Temple University. It's beginning to feel a lot like spring here on the South Plains, even though the end of winter is still more than 2 weeks away.
That's true, Grace. Highs climbed into the 70s yesterday to start off March with beautiful weather. But how long will the winter warm-up continue? Let's take a look at the MCTV forecast. The MCTV Tower Cam has been showing a few more clouds today, but that hasn't kept temperatures from climbing back into the 70s again this afternoon. Highs should top out near 80 degrees before sunset, making for a nice evening here on campus. Overnight, temperatures will drop, but still be pretty mild, with lows in the high 40s. We should also see even more clouds and an increase in wind speeds. Those speeds will continue to increase into tomorrow morning, and there's a chance for gusts reaching as high as 40 miles per hour tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow's highs will also be slightly cooler than today, but we should still reach the 70s late tomorrow afternoon. But unfortunately, the windy conditions will stick around as we head into the weekend, with sustained speeds expected to reach as high as 30 miles per hour on Saturday. Sunday will start out with calm conditions, but that should change quickly in the afternoon. Speeds will again approach 30 miles per hour, with higher gusts still possible that evening. Dust storms could be an issue all weekend long, but temperatures should climb back into the 70s through Sunday. Looking ahead, Sunday's windy conditions will be bringing in a cold front to the area, with another drop in temperatures by Monday morning.
The Red Raider basketball team finished up their home schedule earlier this week with a perfect 18-0 finish at the United Supermarkets Arena.
And the Lady Raiders also finished out their run in the USA last night, but could they do it in winning style? MCTV's Alejandra Salazar joins us now with a look back at last night's game in sports. Alejandra?
Thanks, Kamryn and Grace. To start things off, the Lady Raider basketball team hosted TCU last night as they honored their seniors for their last home game of the season. They came out victorious over the Horned Frogs with an 83-79 win. The ladies led most of the game despite TCU's efforts to keep the game close. Senior Vivian Gray helped the Red Raiders escape with the win, closing her night off with 27 points and converting a three-point play with 9 seconds left. Coming up for the Lady Raiders, they'll be heading down to Waco to face number 5 Baylor. The game is set to start at 2 p.m. If you can't make it to the game, you can stay up to date with stats and scores on texastech.com or by watching on Big 12 Now on ESPN+. Moving on to softball, the ladies will be hosting North Texas and Southern University for their home opening weekend. The Red Raiders will start off the Janine McCaney Memorial Tournament tomorrow against North Texas at 6 at Rocky Johnson Field. To view the full schedule, you can check out texastech.com. Games will also be available to watch on ESPN+. The Tech baseball team will also be in Lubbock this weekend as they will be playing a 4-game set against Merrimack College. First pitch tomorrow will be at 6:30 p.m. at Dan Law Field. If you can't make it to those games, you can watch on Big 12 Now on ESPN+. You can also check out the rest of the schedule for this weekend's matchups on texastech.com. On the other hand, the number 12 Tech basketball team will be heading over to Stillwater to face the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Tip-off is set for 2 p.m. where you can watch live on ESPN+. This game will be their last regular season conference game before they head to the Big 12 Championship Tournament next week in Kansas City. Well, that's all for sports. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Alejandra. You might not know it, but Texas Tech has a competitive rodeo team. Members of the team travel around the country representing the university. But twice a month, they also invite the local community to come out and put their skills to the test right here in Lubbock. On the first and last Tuesday of each month, the team hosts the Texas Tech Rodeo Jackpots at the TTU Equestrian Center. The Jackpots feature goat tying, breakaway, and tie-down competitions, with options for kids all the way to adults. Participants pay an entry fee with the chance of winning the combined jackpot at the end of the night. The rodeo team has hosted the bi-monthly competition for several years, with hopes of gaining more interest from the Texas Tech and Lubbock community.
It's kind of funny when you tell people you're on the rodeo team, they don't really know we have a rodeo team, and so I just kind of want some exposure for the rodeo team, and I think it's a great way of doing it, putting on these jackpots.
This month's first jackpot took place on Tuesday, and the next scheduled competition will take place on March 29th. Entry fees for 14 and under goat tying are $60 for 2 entries and $80 for 2 entries in the goat tying, breakaway, and tie-down events. If you would like more information on how to enter the next jackpot, you can contact the rodeo team's coach, Jared Hofstetter, at 903-316-4136.
So Grace, have you had a chance to see the rodeo team in action?
I have. I got to go down with the camera crew and watch them in practice, and they are really impressive.
Sounds like a lot of fun. That's all for today's edition of the MCTV Weekday Update.
Thanks so much for joining us, and be sure to check ttuhub.net every day for more news. We'll see you next week.